All right, we're live. All right, we're live. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream. I am here in my gremlin outfit, wearing wearing a nice cozy throw and a red shirt. But today, I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather. I think it's because I went hiking yesterday and to Elk Island National Park, and I think I was underdressed. It was quite cold, and I wasn't expecting that at this time of spring. Um, the wind was extremely buffeting, and so I think this might be the onset of a cold of some sort. Let's see what happens tomorrow when I wake up in the morning. I mean, I was feeling kind of underneath the weather last night too, but I woke up today. I was feeling fine. But right now, I just have like slightly burning eyes. That's usually the sign of an offset or like sign that my body's fighting some kind of infection. Probably not COVID, but if it gets worse, I will get it checked out. In the meantime, though, exciting news. I decided that we are gonna start a West Marches style campaign in the beginning of spring, uh, spring month, which is like what are we looking at? It's April right now, so I guess May, February, March, April. Yeah, beginning of May. So we have about 4 weeks to prep for this campaign effectively and see kind of where it goes. And that's more than enough time. I'm not too worried. We can probably do the stream, and within 4 sessions, we should be able to prep for this campaign pretty well. Um, we've already made a call for players, and I think we have about 15 players who are right now interested. Maybe a little bit more actually, because yeah. So, and that is kind of the topic of the stream today is making a West Marches style campaign. I wonder if you guys can hear the music of Spotify right now. I do wonder. Here, let's boost this up a bit. All right, whatever, doesn't matter. The exciting thing is to get straight into the action and kind of take you guys through my thought process about what it's like making a West Marches style campaign off the bat. Really interesting stuff. West Marches. It's a concept of it's a campaign. It's a D&D campaign style that revolves around scalability. Most of the time, D&D parties are made to play with optimal sizes between 3 and 6 is apparently the recommended D&D 5e play number in terms of players. And so West Marches is kind of the exception to that. It's like saying, hey, let's create a design philosophy for 5e or just for any kind of tabletop RPG really, that breaks that convention and that it makes so that you have to actually think a little bit more about how you can scale up the game for more than 10 players. And I think the Reddit page r slash West Marches has a game going with concurrently with 100 players, and I believe 10 DMs. I could be wrong about that number, but it's somewhere in there. Uh, so yeah. With that being said, I'm very excited to start work on trying to design my own version of a West Marches style campaign. Um, I'm going to try and stop using that terminology down the line just to kind of differentiate it a little bit. Oh, my camera's out of focus. Ew. Whatever. We'll deal with it. Look at me. Look at me. Ah. regardless, it is time to get to work, my comrades. And it is time to march west. So without further ado, let me go ahead and stream my ultrawide screen. I've got OneNote going, and we'll do some of our design work over here. This is the ideation phase. This is the fun sphere where we get to take, we're gonna steal ideas that people have already done and modify them to our will. And I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited to finally get a chance to create a campaign setting that is a shared world between the players. And from what I've heard, I've always tried to make my own home campaign more player-driven, in the sense that the world reacts to the players and what they do, versus me trying to make a storyline out of it for them. And so, with regards to that, I think I want to take it to the next level with this West Marches style campaign, so that players have ultimate agency over the world's, over what the world looks like, and what it can morph into for them and for their shared adventure. So with this campaign, I'm going to go ahead and write down some of my goals for this campaign. I think that's kind of important. So can I zoom in? Can I zoom in, please? View, zoom. There we go. We have zoomed in. All right. West marches time. I'm just leaving that out. West marches. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So, before anything else, I want to write down goals. Why did I do that? Stop it. Stop. There we go. I want to write down some goals for this campaign, so that that's the first thing I'm gonna start off with. And these goals are gonna be my pillars. I'm gonna always, when I'm making an encounter or where I'm improvising something, I will always think of these when I am trying to make something for the players, an interesting encounter, an interesting kind of setup for them, or even designing the world is going to be based off of these goals. So my first goal is I take the backseat. With this campaign, I want to be as hands-off as I can possibly be. All the ownership of this campaign will be on the players. I will take my only responsibility within this campaign is to maintain, track of all the side of the storylines that are going on, and introduce some basic foundations for what happens in the world. But other than that, I take the backseat and the players drive the story forward. I am only responsible for tying together storylines in a way that would make sense for the parties going on adventures. And the second goal of this campaign is to give ultimate, I talked about earlier, ultimate ownership to the players. A lot of times in D&D, when you're DMing a campaign, the world building aspect of it comes to you. Like, you have to be the one who kind of creates the backstories, the NPCs, a lot of how people end up progressing through their storylines. And I want to give players ultimate ownership of that storyline, in the sense that all I will literally do is throw options, and the players can literally do whatever they want. And that's kind of how this campaign is going to be running. It's going to be an endless expanse of an adventure, and that's the influence. That's the core principle of West Marches, is that you are in unfamiliar territory. You have just arrived to unexplored lands. And I feel this could give rise to some really interesting topics of conversation over time as multiple different parties go on adventures. So let me just finish up the top 3 goals, and then we'll go into a little bit more about West Marches, what it kind of includes and what it dictates in terms of campaign style. So, to give ultimate ownership to the players, and my third goal with this campaign, let me think here, is going to be to make the story deep, to make the story to tie to a complex narrative. And make use of backstory. So a lot of the times in West March's campaigns, since it's such like a Monster Hunter world as kind of like narrative, which you come to a new land, the backstory doesn't really matter as much, right? You would imagine, because like backstories often have to do with other characters in the past, other people, very specific, other locations. But if you're arriving to this newfound land, then really, what are the chances that the people and the places from your backstory are there? Um, so my goal is going to be trying to solve that problem and actually try to make sure that the character backstories have narrative value and have tie-ins with each other to some extent. So we can make for some complex player interactions that are beyond the scope of let's just band together and head into the party, into the stuff, into the adventure, basically. So let me quickly go ahead over here and kind of outline West March's design in the past. So general West March's design. This is not going to be ours. We're going to modify this quite heavily. And this is a homebrew campaign, so I'm going to be memeing a lot throughout the course of this. All right, so general West March's design includes the use of all adventure, the single town / hub. This is where the players start from often at times in the West Marches campaign. This is where all adventures kind of start from. So our take on this is going to be a single town and hub. Sorry, not our take. This is general West Marches take. Is that everyone starts with the same single town or hub, and then all adventure happens outside of town. So the players can't have adventures in the town. The general West Marches design philosophy is that if you want to have adventures, you need to leave the town. Probably because underdeveloped, probably because like there's something preventing adventures, any kind of hardships from occurring within the town. Maybe there's a really strong governance happening there. Who knows? But all adventure happens outside the town. The next thing is rotating parties, and this is the allure of this gameplay campaign style for me personally. Is how do we have like so in Ben Rosette's I think it's his name, the guy who kind of formulated this kind of campaign style, he says that it's meant for 10 to 14 players. We have about 18, so like let's say we're gonna give a tilt over here and get some people join. It's a 20-player campaign, right? Cool. That's kind of our constraint in terms of party size. It could go up, could go down. Doesn't really matter as long as it's above 10. That's cool with me. All right, rotating parties, which means that players will usually always be in different parties. That's one word. Each session. Cool. That actually is a kind of an interesting point. And the reason why it's interesting is primarily because it leads to this general conclusion that it prevents the formation of cliques. And this is really, really important because oftentimes what can happen is if, two characters go on an adventure together, and I don't know, like they vibe really well together, then it ends up like forming, they always start going on adventures together. And at that point, it becomes a small clique, and then more people join into that small clique, and then you have an actual like D&D party coming out of that. But what that ends up doing is players that get less time to play, or players that come in mid campaign, often at times get excluded from those cliques, and then they struggle to find a group to go adventuring with, and I don't want that. And I think this is something I'm going to steal for sure. Is that the rule that General West March Design implements is usually parties, a player cannot go on an adventure with the same person twice in a row. And obviously this is hard to enforce, but I will try to enforce the best of my abilities. And there are always exceptions to this, but as a general rule of thumb, I think that's a good West March design philosophy. So I'm going to quickly go look ahead at some of the stuff that, obviously, the reason so this campaign style guide was invented, was coined by Ben Rosett, but eventually it really gained popularity when Matt Colville began speaking to the topic and started discussing it on his channel, and that's when I found really interesting, because we always have the same problem, right? People flaking the game, and this kind of helps more people get involved at the same time, which is my goal. Um, anyone can play, and I want to make this anyone can play bold. Okay, this is going to be a really important goal for me. I want this to be as accessible as a campaign as possible, and so all my design will be based around accessibility, as best as possible. There might be some exceptions to that rule actually, which might be a contradiction in design philosophies, but we'll see. All right. Other thing about this is scheduling. Players are in control. I don't decide what time people meet up. The players form a party and they say, "Hey, we want to check out this goblin stronghold 500 meters away from town. Anyone wants to come? It's level, I'm level 3. I want to go check this thing out." Other players go, "Yeah, sure, let's go partying, let's go adventuring that day." And then they make a plan, a schedule, and then they tell me that they want to play on X day, X time, and I'll be like, "Okay, I can run that time, so let's do it." And that's when we go adventuring. So there can definitely be times when like there's just a gap of campaign where no one wants to go adventuring because no one's free, and that's fine. I want this to be as low effort for me as possible, but I want it to be as inclusive as possible. And so the hard part about this is kind of hitting that balance in the nail. Right. So that's gonna be really interesting. Just to kind of plan and make use of. So here's some of the ideas that I kind of had just off the top of my head. And now from this point onwards, I'm just spitballing, throwing stuff at the wall. And if you guys have any ideas in the chat, feel free to dump them here as well. I'm interested to answer any questions you might have about the design and stuff like that. But here, let me answer a few questions about. So, right? We want to talk about number one, Zawardo. We talk about the world. I want to answer questions about what does a session look like. I want to answer questions about how does progression work. And that's a pretty broad question because I talk about player progression, story progression. I want to hope to answer most of those questions. How does progression work? And I want to talk about rewards and feedback loops. Feedback loops. And those are the kind of questions I want to answer today for myself. All right, let's take a look at this and let's see what we can try and infer. Generally, boop. Oh, I love OneNote. Right. Cool. So, what do we got, Chief? Let's talk about the world. The world. Now, so here are some influences that I had. I also already mentioned this, but Monster Hunter World is actually basically a West Marches campaign. Like, just by the way it ends up kind of being. You arrive and they're like, "Oh, we found a new continent." Blah 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 blah. Cool story, bro. Hey, I found a new a new land. And that's basically West Marches, right? Because like you start off in this coastal town, and the boats are landing, and you are the first frontier. Pog. Me likes that. I think it's a very it's a very cool concept because like if you were the first people to arrive on this land, what do you find and how do you deal with it? There are so many amazing possibilities. If you find a people or a tribe native to the land, like are you gonna colonize them? Are you gonna be that guy? Are you gonna I don't know. It depends on your character, right? Like so many things can happen, and it'll be interesting to see the outcomes of a lot of conflicts that occur with the land, with the world, and with the players. And so this is very traditional. Monster Hunter World is very traditional in terms of the kind of world setting that you can imagine for West March's style of campaign. Um, but here's something a little bit more. I think one of my friends talked to me about this, and the idea kind of just stuck with me that like this could be is a very specific 100 floor tower from a very certain anime slash a light novel series, um, which when you die in the game, you die in real life, and I'm talking, of course, about Minecraft. And I think this could be a really, really cool idea where, like, you instead of playing characters like you put in traditional D&D, you do make those characters like traditional D&D, but that's all encased within an MMO system. And so the players are literally have to make two kinds of characters. The players make a character that is like a meta role playing, right? Because they're at one level they're like playing the IRL person who is in the world, and then the other side um, they're playing the character of of the person they're playing. So it's like nested. It's like wait, let me see. You have actual player, actual player at the table. Can you guys? You can't see this, can you? Let me go ahead and move that. Boop boop. So you have like actual player, actual player over here, and then they control a person in the world, and they can be from like an actual person from Earth, you know. And then that person controls character. And so really, like at that point, the players are kind of doing a meta thingy. This might be a bit too complex, so I might not run with this. It's a cool idea, and the world setting still is valid even for a normal West Marches style campaign. But this is just like a wacky idea that I thought might be interesting to try and experiment with and see people are actually interested in trying out. Um, but yeah, like literally like a 100 floor tower. This could be really cool because no one knows what's up above in the other floors, and so um, maybe we can literally do like a people are called from different parts of the world into this tower, um, and you know like you have to scale this giant castle. Um, Incredible, maybe like Tower of God or something like that. Maybe I don't know. That's the inspiration. Now another idea that I kind of had, and I think this is really, really interesting in terms of world setting, is if it was a traditional West Marches style campaign, then some of the references I thought would be pretty neat to kind of implement are like the Zonai slash Sheikah from Breath of the Wild. I think this could be like a really, really cool touchstone as like a general aesthetic for the entire campaign because like um, a world which has no mystery in it is not an interesting world to adventure in. And so there's got to be something at large that is happening that is inciting the players towards this adventure, and they might be able to uncover some really important mysteries of the world as time goes on. And I think that could be pretty cool, and I think that could lead to some really interesting outcomes. So I don't know. Let's see. Um, but yeah, I think that'd be pretty fun. I would be excited in trying it out and seeing how things go. Uh, all right. Doop 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 doop. Uh, right. So I've got no more ideas for world. If you got ideas for world chat, hit me up. Um, you could do a West Marches campaign set in like a school setting. You know, that could be a thing. Actually, we couldn't because stuff's already charted. This is uncharted land. Which other like references do we have which has like uncharted lands in them? You know what I mean? Here, let's Google this together. Um, let's go on this adventure together. All right. Um, Stories with uncharted worlds. Explorers. Exploration stories for uncharted worlds. Oh yeah, that's an important thing I should write down over here. A core aesthetic of this is going to be exploration. Ooh, look at that! Look at that juicy, fat rainbow color. I love it. This is the aesthetic of the campaign. Just this right here, and nothing else. Hey, Omer. Uh, it's quite a wild brush, all right. Ooh, the Dark Continent. Oh, that's a solid Dark Continent. Ooh, Greed Island. Um, yeah, Greed Island could be interesting too. And that would kind of work really well with the 100 floor. Uh, this is indeed a West Marches campaign. Who knows if it's east or west? Why does it have to be always west? I also last time I read Hunter x Hunter was like the chapter where they were leaving for the Dark Continent. That's the last time I read any Hunter x Hunter. Anyway, it doesn't matter because like the author will never ever finish the fucking series, so I guess I'll just like chill out and not read it until I'm 50 years old. In the meantime, let's go ahead and do some googling over here. Doop 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 doop. All right. What does this say? What does Reddit say? Let's go with Reddit. Reddit's nice. There is nothing here. Well, that sucks. Um, uh, why is that? There's the same guy posting in different forums, and no one's responded to this guy. Oh man, unfortunate. Um, like obviously isekai settings are so fucking obvious. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I could always do like an isekai, literally just an isekai. It's like I'm just dump it here for an idea later. You know what I mean? Like just isekai. That's it. I'm not gonna write anything else because like it just fills in the blanks for itself. Hey, everyone's drawn to this other world. Yeah, I think in terms of isekai, like the more specific thing and the more specific reference that I would look at, um, it's something like Konosuba. You know what I mean? Like even though it's a fucking meme, it would be quite similar to isekai in the sense that when you're brought into this newer world, your traditions and stuff are quite different. One Piece. Oh man, that's nice. One Piece. Island hopping adventure. Ooh, Archipelago. I like that. Archipelago sounds like a fucking lit time. Yeah, island to island discoveries. It's a really fucking good idea. Like an archipelago is gonna be super cool because like you have like a bunch of different islands that are just like sitting next to each other, waiting to be explored. And archipelago do be lit, do be lit, do be lit. Uh, what other worlds exist that have been uncharted? Crossroads segmentation. Yeah, actually, an idea for that. I'll get to it in a bit, but I just want to kind of note down some of the worlds right now. That'll be interesting. But progressive systems in West Marches style campaigns are really kind of tricky to navigate, but I think it'd be interesting to do it either way. Uh, Here. Let's try and figure out the specifics of this. Isekai. Give me inspiration. Um, it's in the classic genre settings of like post-apocalyptic, zombie apocalypse, uh, a different planet is pretty common. Again, I still want it to be a fantasy. I don't want to go too urban with it because I feel like a lot of new players are kind of drawn to that initial fantasy. So I'd be interested in trying to stick to more fantastical roots. Grand Blue Fantasy is a neat aesthetic too. I actually haven't watched that anime before. Grand Blue Fantasy World. Grand Blue Fantasy. What do we got here? Nolgrand and Fantagrand. Interesting. Yes, there is an anime. Indeed. Oh, it's literally just floating cities. I see. All right, I'm trying not to do floating cities. I think that's interesting, but I think it's overdone. No offense, Omer. These are some really cool inspirations, though. Oh, you know what could be cool? Magic the Gathering Planeswalking. MTG Planeswalking. That'd be really cool. I don't know if... Yeah, it's like literally just Planeswalking. So, like, a list of planes MTG. There's a really good, like, multiverse project. Here we go. So, like, these are all the planes in the Magic multiverse. And so you basically go plane hopping in a sense that everyone's planeswalkers. And so you have, like, for example, like this Egyptian inspired, like, plane. Um, and then you have, like, it has their own gods and it has their own, like, culture and stuff like that. And then you have, like, stuff that is inspired by the prehistoric age, like Ikoria, behemoths. You have stuff like Innistrad inspired by, like, Bavaria from Curse of Strahd. Kaladesh is like this more like progressive, like technological stuff. Gate, yeah, exactly. They're pretty cool. You have Kaldheim, which is like this Viking inspired world, the world tree and stuff like that. Pretty fucking cool with like 10 different layers. Kamigawa is like a Japanese inspired like plane of water and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's gonna be really cool actually. Makes some interesting adventures. They're also like a Greek inspired place. Hello Jurassic rules. Welcome. We were just talking about the Jurassic period. In fact, dinosaurs from Ikoria. uh, it's tough to find a party. It is like especially tough to find a party online. It is quite quite a hard feat when you don't have a small community to play with usually. How long you wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons for? And have you played D&D before? Yeah, but they've already been charted, Omer. Like they've been explored, but they've already been charted. And it'd be interesting. I mean, at that point, it's effectively like a casual West Marches campaign, right? Because like they've already been charted. Sorry, if they have been uncharted, then it's effectively the same. The only difference is like you travel from region to region, which could be interesting. But then the whole world's uncharted, and then I don't know about that. It could be. How about this? Like it could. I have wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons since around January. No one wants to play Dungeons and Dragons with me because they say that it is dumb. Dungeons and Dragons is not dumb. I can tell you that for sure. Mm-hmm. Cretaceous period. Indeed, there are multiple periods. I'd say Digimon is more on the Uncharted side, but fair point. Well, Digimon's actually kind of similar, right? Because like you travel between, it's like Bakugan, and all the same. You travel between the planes. It's all plane hopping. Sell, sell to rope people into a one shot. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Uh, mm, Bakugan was a good time. I remember those days. That was a good time. Jurassic Rules. If you are into game development, there is a game development server that I'm a part of called the Games Den. And that is what I'm running this campaign for, is for everyone in that server and in Edmonton. I haven't actually watched Bakugan since I was like 14, 15. Thanks for coming to my birthday party. Here are some sample characters playing D&D now. You signed up for this the moment you walked in. Unfortunate. All right. So let's stop here for the world and let's keep going and talking about the other question I want to answer right now, which is number 2. What does a session look like? And so this is kind of my understanding of what does a session look like. So in normal D&D, sessions obviously look kind of in the span of, hey, last time we picked off at X place with the objective to do Y. Let's continue our adventure to try and solve Y objective. With West Marches style D&D, which is built to scale with number of players, the important thing is to make sure that each session kind of has a fixed start and end. It's like each session is its own one shot, but not really, because there is a cohesive storyline going across each session with rotating parties. So what ends up happening is, party signs up for a time adventure. Adventure tells DM, who's DMing. Number 2, why did this happen? Oh my lol. Hello? Stop! Ah! Alright, whatever. We'll deal with this. Party signs up for time and adventure, tells DM. Party leaves town. Leaves hub. I'm not calling it a town. Leaves hub, whatever it is. Leaves hub to get to X place where adventure awaits / objective. So ideally speaking, they've all like coalesced onto an objective. So then they'll be like, hey, last time we went on an adventure, I came across this orc village, and these orc people were like kind of invading the Tabaxi, the land who were neighboring them. It was kind of a side hustle to the previous adventure we went on, but I want to tackle this issue because I don't want Tabaxi to lose their village. Who wants to come with me and help me make sure Tabaxi can stand on their own? And that becomes an adventure. And so everyone goes on an adventure and tackles that issue in a single session. And so that's the objective. So each session is kind of like a pocket adventure, which connects to a storyline. Okay, in a session, there will be some creatures from Triassic era are Niosaurus, Parringtoni, Coelophysis. That's a really funny name. Herarosaurus, Eoraptor, Prestosuchus, Poposaurus. Are you sure I'm making these up? Liliansternus, Arizonasaurus. All right, you got me. Very good. You know what? Let's go ahead and put that in here. Let's go slay a Ice-T-Saurus is my favorite. Good old Arizonosaurus. I like Poposaurus. That is trampling to backseat village. Trampling camp. All right. You know what? You've got me. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what a Poposaurus is. No, nah, that's all I want. I want Poposaurus. Oh, that's the thing. Wow. That could be a cool level 1 encounter. They're like about this big. Just a fucking Poposaurus. At that point, it's literally a Monster Hunter World campaign. I live in Alberta, so I've seen the Albertasaurus. Albertasaurus was pretty sick. I really like the Albertasaurus. It's like a giant T-Rex. It's pretty sick. All right. Trambling camp. I hate typos, but I love them. All right. City Station's kind of like a pocket adventure. I always just have a place set aside for dinosaurs to exist. That's a good idea, or maybe I will use that in this case as well. By the way, can you hear any music in the back? Out of curiosity, let me know if you can hear any music. I do have music playing in the back. Arizonosaurus. Sure, let's look it up. Arizonosaurus. All right, let me pump it up a little bit. Ooh, fancy. That's pretty small. Look how tiny it is. Aw, cutie. Things look cutie. Middle Triassic period. Samuel Paul Welles. Interesting. Cool. Very nice. All right. So, I'll turn up the music a little bit more. All right. So, what does session look like? You have objective. You can generally fast travel is allowed. Maybe it's a mechanic. So that way we can actually progress storyline and have to waste time on random encounters. Yo, Made in Abyss? That's a good one. It's just like the opposite of Aincrad. It's just fucking 100 floors deep. But I like the idea that like Made in Abyss, where like literally the deeper you go, the more tougher it is to leave, or it leaves a mark on you of some kind. Could be pretty cool, actually. Kino Journey is cool exploration. That is true. It's about populated area. So is Violet Evergarden, in a way. Kind of similar vibes, I found at least. Thank you for the information. I will put this in my my dinosaur dictionary so I can pull it out at D&D night. That'd be kind of fun. Generally fast travel is allowed. Maybe it's a mechanic. What does that session look like? So I think it could be pretty cool actually if give me a quick second while I take a look at this. Yeah, okay. So in this session, by the end of it, there is some kind of takeaway. So each session, so the idea is that like each session contributes to a storyline in some sense. It should be some narrative progress. It doesn't have to be much narrative progress, but long as there's some, and that's more than enough. Each session plants a seed for another adventure. And this is how the positive feedback loop's going to work. Because if you, like, a good example of this, I think, would be, for example, doobity doop doop doobity doop doop. I think if you have a situation where, for example, party goes to clear out level 3 undead dungeon, whatever that is. They encounter something tough and have to retreat at end of session. This plants a seed for further adventures. What was in that other corner? What was in the other corner that we didn't get to explore, etc., etc. The idea generally is that that's kind of how it's going to be linked together. So at this point, I kind of want to quickly swap back into the world area because there's something important to talk about the world here, and that's storylines. Generally speaking, like, storylines are something that becomes really messy to manage if you have a lot of parallel storylines. So the concept I want to kind of adopt is one that I saw on YouTube somewhere, but it's effectively like this. It's effectively a model where it's visible. It kind of is. All right. It's kind of a model where, like, say this is like your. Let me scroll down a bit. Here we go. So here's the concept, right? Like, suppose this is like your water. This is water, and this is where the west is. And so this is the way we came into town. And so, like, let's say you have, like, this is terrible. Let's add a new pen. Let's make it yellow, gold. Boop. This is like a beach, right? Kind of like Monster Hunter. And then boop, you have the central town. This is kind of the where all the adventure kind of happens. Sorry, this is where the hub is, effectively. And this is a super basic example. It's going to 100% change afterwards. But say this is kind of what ends up happening. Now, the idea is that from this town, there will be 3 directions. So we'll have north, we'll have this way, so into the mainland. The mainland like this. So we have, like, northeast, and then we have boop, and then we have northwest. And so the idea is that in these 3 directions, there's going to be 3 different parallel storylines that players progress based on the direction which they're going. They need to make a Microraptor into Dungeons & Dragons for memes because they could make Microraptor and sound like Dungeon. A Tarask. They could actually. That'd be pretty cool. But honestly, the Tarask is just a... Oh my god. I don't ever want to fight that. I would never make my players fight a Tarask unless it's for memes. Alright, it's Alright, so continue on. So the 3 storylines. So if a player heads in that general direction, they will progress that storyline. One of the 3 storylines. But scale to CR half. Yeah. And so what's going to end up happening is the idea of the deeper you go, we can actually implement it in this case because we're going to have layers. So this is zone 1, this is zone 2, this is zone 3. And so what ends up happening is at the intersection points, you're going to have encounters or dungeons or something of interest. I can obviously have a random one over here, a random one over here. Well, the general idea is that at these points of intersection, you will have different kinds of encounters. And they can be like actual locations and expansive locations because it's a very large world. So for example, and they're all leveled. So this is going to be the level 1 area. It's going to be level 2 area. It's going to be level 3 area. So as people level up, like the zones are going to get incrementally more difficult as they progress outwards and deeper into the land that they're now discovered. And that way you have a proper progression system that we can put into place. So people do level up, the rewards are better, the risk is more when they adventure further out. That's the general way we're going to tackle difficulty in this place, where we have like this effectively like a concentric circle of sorts, where like as you branch out and you go deeper, the storylines will progress based on which encounter and which level you're in. And you can always find something new at the previous place. So for example, what happens is like kind of like over here, there's a rainbow over here, you go to this level 1 location in the northwest area right over here, and turns out at level 1 area in northwest there's a goblin stronghold, let's say, for example. And then in the goblin stronghold it reveals that like for some reason they have allied with the gnolls, and the gnolls are interested in bringing Yinagu from the abyss back to, whatever. They find the goblins like interacting with the gnolls in a harmonic relationship. All right, that's fishy. What the fuck's going on here? The next time they go into a deeper layer, we're going to uncover more of that plot, which is like, for example, okay, they interacted with the Yinagu, and now finally we're seeing the players find out that they're having like this weird ritual, and they interrupt the ritual, and now the gnolls are mad, and they have noticed your presence as you've invaded their ritual. And so now maybe they can actually come closer to town because they want to fucking attack it, but they can't. And so what ends up doing is maybe this is going to affect the adventure over here. So next time a party goes for an adventure, level 1 adventure, maybe they end up fighting gnolls right outside of town because the gnolls are mad from the previous storyline. And so this storyline actually is going to have an interaction from the other storyline. And so they'll have a crossover. And it'll constantly be threads crossing over from various points of interest as the deeper you go, and influencing previous levels so that new adventurers can still find something of interest that hasn't been discovered already. And that could be like a cool way to make the progression loop feel more natural and more part of the world building. That's kind of the idea. What a session looks like. So I want to switch topics a bit and talk quickly about progression. So I've already discussed kind of a little bit of progression in the storyline, and that storyline progression is going to be like what I discussed earlier. It's going to be based on cardinal encounters, and this is just the first iteration of design. I think that like as time goes on, I will learn about what is working and what isn't working because of player feedback, and I can alter it depending on what the players want, and try to make it cleaner as an experience. All right, so progression in terms of this. The important thing over here is going to be levels. Like, how am I going to tackle levels, right? And so level, the one approach to leveling is like when all the encounters of a level 1 area have been cleared, all the people who are in the town will go to level 2. So once everything in the level 1 circle, which is like this shit over here, this ring over here, is cleared, everyone levels up. And that's cool. And that's like kind of how people have done it in the past. I think what could be interesting at that point is I want to create it so that each person has their individual adventure. I want to promote people making alt accounts if they want to. Like, there's this character that I have over here. He's level like 10, and he's doing the advanced raids. But I also want to level 1 character because in a different class because I want to play it as a character. So I don't want people to be locked in to a certain character because this will also allow people to have different characters in the same world, and that's exciting to me. So each person has their individual characters. And I think people are gonna have really a lot of fun making new characters. So I think I'm gonna let them go ham with that and like take advantage of a shared world. You could also reduce it to 2/3 parts of a level 1 circle. What do you mean? There are... Oh, you mean like only 2 directions? Make it smaller? So like get rid of the north, only north and west and northeast? Basically? I do want it to become a complex web at some point that I have to manage. I do want that onus on me. So I do want it to be a little bit more complex. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Alright, I see. So here's what I want to do. And like this is the approach that I want to take towards this. The approach I want to take towards this is each character has their individual level. Each car has individual level, like MMOs. Because, I mean, West March's D&D is basically like an TTRPG MMO, right? It is kind of like that. I think there's quite a lot of similarities, I would say. And so I wanted so that I kind of lean into the MMO aspect of it a little bit more and say that each character has their individual level. And so this would basically mean that level 1 adventurers can go on italics can go on level 3 adventures. And so what that means is high risk, high reward. And this is going to be a really important part of the design of this, I think. My hunch is that this will work pretty well. Because, and we'll figure this out through iteration, obviously, and we can always change it mid-campaign. But, like, I would like it so that people can go on adventures that are way above that level. So suppose this would lead to a sort of power leveling situation at some point. Maybe like level 10 adventurers take level 1 guy along with them, but the risk that the guy dies is going to be a lot more. Like 100% going to be a lot more. But people will try and might find a way to cheese this and like be like, okay, let's get a level 1 guy to come on level 3 adventure. Cool. Ideally speaking, what I'd want to do is that generally we'll follow generally level 2 character we'll do milestone leveling. So we can do like level 2 character will during level 2 character we'll need to clear like 2 encounters. So let's make a linear scale to get to level 3. Like that's the general way it's gonna work. It's like, let's say it's gonna be like this, right? We'll do a small graph over here. So it's gonna be a linear graph like this with number of encounters and level. So like if there's like, you know, a level 5 adventurer will have to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, in order to get to level 6. That's my take. Level 5 will need to clear 5 level 5 encounters. Maybe let's say level 4 or 5. Level 4 or 5 encounters to level up. I think that makes a lot more sense. I think. So people who like don't want to take too much risk, they can always go to the encounters that are like 1 level behind them. Right? So what this is basically saying, let me break it down a bit in my head, because I think I'm a little confused myself right now. So I think what this would mean is that lower level adventurers can go on higher level adventures. This means that they will be allowed to take higher risk, higher reward to level up faster if they wanted to take that risk. Right? Level. And what this means is that if you're level, nothing is locked by levels, basically. Yeah. But there is gonna be a vanguard, right? Because like, kind of like how you have the clearers from SAO. Like in SAO, you have the people who like are always the ones who are trying to progress to the next zone, right? To uncover the next like ring, like this one over here. That vanguard is gonna be pushing the encounters forward, and then you have like the adventurers who are lower level who can participate in those clearing level adventures at a higher risk if they wanted to. But the people who are clearing it will have to go bit by bit to uncover the rings as they progress forward. And I think that makes a lot more. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry. It's gonna be the same either way. There's no difference. Yeah, that example is it was a good analogy though, right? Yeah, I feel you. Oh man. All right. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. If we have, so if you have, so the Vanguard is gonna be there. So ring clearance. That's gonna be under this topic probably. Let's go ahead and come here. There's gonna be a Vanguard. There's gonna be a Vanguard of adventurers who's gonna be discovering what lies ahead for other people. In terms of narrative, it could mean something, right? Like if you're level 1 adventure coming in when the world's already explored like a little bit, you're somebody who's coming in a little bit later. Kind of like Monster Hunter World, you're going to be working your ass off to try and get to a place where you're also on the Vanguard, if that is what you came here for. Because like, why would you come to the West Marches if you're not coming for adventure? Yeah. And in the machine. Yeah. That's why in the marches. Yeah, that makes sense. Those two beasts I said fit Dungeons & Dragons well. Yeah. I think there already are a few dinosaurs in Dungeons & Dragons. There already are quite a few dinosaurs, right? Other than the Tarrasque, I think there are quite a few. I think Velociraptors are in D&D, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident that they are. I forget. We'll do 5e tools later, but that's going to be cool either way. There's going to be a Vanguard, and Vanguard needs to clear 2 out of 3. Let's say the Vanguard needs to clear 2 out of 3 encounters to unlock next layer. Next layer / ring. Yeah, I figured. I'm aware. I'm taking your stuff out of context. Okay, so We're gonna move this a little bit up here. Alright. Okay, we have some good stuff going on over here at the moment. This is pretty good. Doobity doop 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 doop. Rare needs to clear 2/3 of the encounter to unlock the next layer or rank. That's actually pretty good, right? Because like otherwise, like if it's like a more if SAO if Aincrad like I don't want to use SAO as an example. If Aincrad like world, it's gonna be the persistent the level up the next floor dungeon, right? And then like people basically have to like visit it multiple times because it's actually quite complex of a dungeon. That's gonna be hard to draw maps for. Holy shit. I might just look around and find some random maps online, or I could generate something from an online map generator and just use that in the meantime. And just hope that players are okay with lines. Yeah, milestone dungeon, effectively. It's a good word to use. Milestone dungeon. Milestone dungeon to unlock next drink. And like this could be like literally whatever it is, right? Like it depends upon the narrative, obviously. It depends on the world we're picking. Like it would be weird if I mean it could be like an Attack on Titan thing where they're like layers of walls basically, and like each wall has its own dungeon and to clear that. Choke points, yeah. Good idea. I do not see your message about the Ibis Shield in Arwa, so I do not see that in the chat, unfortunately. All right. Okay. This makes sense. I literally can't find it, my dude. I have no idea where that is. I apologize. I tried scrolling my chat. I couldn't find it. I'm maybe blind. Anyway, progression. All right, cool. So that's how level's gonna work. I think that's pretty solid for now. You can see where it goes later. You can always improv it later. And change it up with the homebrew, depending on feedback. So storyline progression is gonna be like that. Narrative progression. A lot of it is gonna be linked to the 3 cardinal storylines. Linked to player backstories. I actually God damn it, Omar, stop it. God damn it, dude. Please. If you want, you can repost it, my friend, because I don't see it anywhere. Feel free to repost it if you want. Link to the player backstories. I oftentimes West Marches, because it's always so adventure related, it's hard to find ways to implement player backstory and player background because they're in a totally foreign world. And so I do want a way to link it to the player backstories. One way or the other, I will find a way to do it. Because I do think that's really, really important, and it will give the characters a different kind of life when they are in this place and in this world. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty important. Is it a part of the Addy larger world TM? Maybe. Maybe. Depends. Depends on if it's what kind of story, what kind of world it is. If we're doing like a flat out, if we're gonna do, because like we already know that Wildmount, Medlin, and Elmir are all in the same planet, same world. So it'll be interesting to see if this one could also be. Kind of depends upon what we pick. Interesting. All right. Doop 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 doop. Yeah. So progression, that makes sense. Any other questions about progression that I should answer? Level is really the big one. Yes. Well, I do want to talk about items. That's gonna be really interesting. This is an exploration oriented campaign. Therefore, loot. Right. Because I think it's going to be important to provide some cool items to people. Maybe the items are linked to the story. Who knows? All right. So now we've got that. Actually did quite a bit of work today. I'm kind of happy with how much progress we made in the first iteration already. It's pretty solid. I actually want to keep that there in case I add more goals. But other thing I want to add real quick is talk about rewards. And after this, we'll kind of end the stream and pick up next time. But I do want to talk about rewards because that's going to be quite important. Yeah, environmental storytelling is going to be super important. I should put that over here. Environmental storytelling. It's a must. And that is actually an area of my DMing that I want to work on. I think I'm actually decently weak at that, so I want to work on that a little bit more. At least having some general theme in mind. Encountered. Oh yeah, for sure. If you want gimmicks, man, I got gimmicks and themes for you for days. That's something I'm okay at. I can do that for sure. But you're right. Environmental storytelling is going to be super pivotal to the way this is going to work. I 100% agree with you on that one. Yeah, okay. So in terms of rewards, we already talked about item rewards. Intrinsic exploration rewards, level unlock, so progression, so level progression. This is basically the unlocking the next layer of dungeons and stuff like that, encounters and stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty important. Oh, this is getting like a little bit cocked, isn't it? Let me try and oh my god. Fuck. Let me try doing that. Alright, let's move this over here. Thank you. This is a bad idea. Uh-oh. I'm a fucking god. Alright. I really don't need this anymore. Why am I even trying? Alright, fuck you. Anyway. We're gonna have... Okay, let's put this over here. Alright. So we have intrinsic exploration rewards, level progression. The one thing I wanted to do with this is that players don't get the map. Therefore, Each player must make their own journal or map. Player records of events are key to uncovering the story, the overarching story. And players are rewarded for bringing in their scribings. This is going to be a pretty important part of the campaign, I think. I am not going to give the players a map to work with. I will only give them the idea of where they're going generally in direction. But it is up to them to uncover what the map actually looks like so that they can have some more interaction with the other players and talk about stuff in a way that they haven't talked about already. Why is this over here? Where is this from? Where did you come from? Hello? I don't know. Here we go. Anyway. Alright. Time to get some mileage out of my character's proficiency with cartographer's tools. So I excuse to have that character make the map. Yeah. Fair enough. And I think the way I want to reward this is by like having them bring in so exchange for like the way I kind of phrased this earlier was guild coins. I'll always change this based on whatever it is. This is a kind of a sub currency that is different from stuff like the regular currency, which is gold, silver, platinum, I think. Now here's the thing, right? Like, do people find gold, silver, and platinum where they are? I think they would find items and they can sell those items for money, basically. That's how it would work. That's how they would make money. Like, it's a good question that I should ask myself earlier is like, just gonna put it down over here. How do players make money? How do players make money? And I can think about this later. But the important thing right now is to exchange for guild coins. And guild coins can be exchanged for so if you exchange them, when you have enough, you can get a level. You can get a level. That could be cool. You can get a level. That's a lot. I think that's gonna be a final reward. So it's gonna be like doop 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 doop. You could save, so you get powerful items. Powerful items. You could get, and I would just probably use make some homebrew items, and also I had some pre-listed items from Tasha's, which is sitting over here, and Xanathar's guide, and I would try and like filter out some items that would make some sense. That's what I was thinking. You could do skill training, and you can become proficient with some of the masters of the craft over there. Spells, I like that idea. Spells that would normally other people would use. Homebrew character progression in exchange for currency? What do you mean by homebrew character progression? I think spells are super important for sure. Hey, cash in your like we're thinking with Calibria Academy. Oh, I see what you mean. Ah, okay, 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 okay. Yeah, we could do that, and I think 100% sure. Giving access to skill training and spells, I like a lot. I think that'd be pretty cool, and would really incentivize people to start like mapping out their own versions of the world and running events and logs, stuff like that. Um, I think the other thing that we could do potentially is is so in the end we can give them level in like other class maybe. Home base camp upgrades plus expansions. Kind of like Hades. Kind of like the roguelike stuff you do an encounter, you come back, you cash them in for something. I like it. I like it. That makes sense. Home base upgrades probably is a good one. What would that encompass? Like what could you put in home base upgrades that would make stuff easier? Um, let's see. Egypt's gonna run West Marches? When was that? I would say like museum slash library, like records library, records artifacts library, artifacts library. Oh really? Interesting. Damn. I should ask EJ about his prep. It's been a hot minute since I talked to him about it. Um, records artifact library definitely seems like it's a really interesting direction to go. I like that a lot. Uh, do I have? Yeah, yeah. Oh, was I there for that? I think I was there for that. I'm pretty sure I was there for that. Um, maybe I'm just mistaken. Am I mistaken? Who knows? Um, anyway, home base upgrades could include records artifact library. It could be just like like posh shit. It literally could be posh shit, like hot springs, couches, better beds. Um, oh yeah, I could get buffs. Leave the camp buffs, like cooking in MHW. Taylor could be nice. Um, yeah, kitchens is what I was thinking. So like enchanter maybe could be nice. Enchanter, someone who can actually like improve items that you come across. Enchanter who can improve and decrypt items if they come across it. Yeah, thematic benefits and buffs for each. Leave the camp buffs would be really cool. Like you get a temporary hit points. Yeah, yeah. It's like coming back for gacha pulls. That's what it's like. It's like, hey, I just want a CP. I just have a gacha machine in there, like gacha Taylor. It's like a wild magic Taylor who like you never know what you're gonna get in the end of it. But it might be maybe what you want. Who knows? Roll a D100. What do you get? Gotcha, Taylor. Uh, it'd be pretty fun actually. I was gonna put that in there for the fuck of it. Like, gotcha. Just gotcha. All right. Yeah, it would be pretty late. Gotcha machine. Um, it'd be pretty magic item gotcha. um, um, this is exciting. This is quite exciting. I'm very hyped for this. All right. So we have like gotcha machine. We can do Let's see, what else can we do here? Trying to think. Home base upgrades. Well, I think of these later. It'd be cool. Maybe you can make requests. Yeah, like why don't the players do all the work? Why am I doing the work? The player's supposed to do the work. The goal of this campaign, as we said earlier, I take the backseat. You put in a request system. What do you want, guys? Put in a request. Alright, players reward for bringing in inscribings. This is pretty cool. Farmers market. Yeah. That's good. Organic food store. Return to Harvest Moon game. Yeah. That's basically it. You improve your home base. And generally speaking, like all let me rearrange this better for my own benefit. Stuff done here is offline. So you basically just message me about it and we can get it done. Doing the server. Alright. Looks good, looks good. Yeah, this is the one thing I want to introduce for sure is like a guild point system to kind of reward the players for taking initiative. Maybe you get like here you go. I have an idea. Show new people the ropes award. If you show a new person the ropes to the game, the world, to the game, you get spec currency, the one we talked about earlier. Mentor system. Exactly. You hit the nail on the head, Omer. That is exactly what I was thinking. A mentor system. I was waiting for you to say that. Like I said, one of the goals is to make anyone can play. 0 fully accessible game mode. So someone will sit down with you and you'll get special currency by showing someone the ropes. And maybe you could also like get other rewards such as temp buff. You could possibly like get inspiration. What? No way. Inspiration dice. Yeah. I have a better idea. Inspiration dice / reroll. Free rerolls. Could be interesting. Tempt people with that a little bit. Mentor reroll. Because I mentored this guy earlier in my high level dungeon. Luck points, yeah, like potential luck points could be pretty good. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That players that necessarily don't like have. You could have a player who just like straight up only mentors people and spends the CP on rerolls. and then just walks in an encounter and just like rerolls everything. Portent, yeah. Divination wizard. You're pretty cool. It's like the I really like the chronal shift ability from Explorer's Guide to Wildmine, the chronology table. Spends all coins to be Gandalf. Yeah. Here's level 20 fucking Lich. Goes ahead and tries to kill you. I have a reroll. You need to beat DC 19. Not die. I rolled 14. I will reroll. I rolled 16. I will reroll. I rolled 8. I will reroll again. I rolled nat 20, baby. Alright. I mean, nat 20 is 1 in 20 chance, right? So if you basically, like, go ahead and you get 10 rerolls, you will, you know... That's just Gandalf. Yeah. That is just Gandalf. It feels so earned. Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, oh shit, dude. I spent all this time to earn these rerolls, and I can spend them in one place to survive, to live another day. I feel pretty earned, I'm sure. I think it's a pretty cool system. I think it makes a lot of sense in the context too. All Might in the Flesh. Could this be the birth of Alt Might? Yo, literally, if you were Paladin, you would just like fucking take Barbarian multiclass to hit on 19s and 20s. Just to crit on 19s and 20s. And then you would like get the rerolls. And then you just like constantly be critting. That's a crit build. That is your crit build. Fucking whack. That sounds pretty lit, actually. I would totally do that. Alright, but I think that's good for now. Exploration. The thing I want to leave off on, I think, is 20% campaign. The thing I want to leave off on is by saying that this gonna be brutal. Kind of brutal. I'm not gonna be pulling any punches on this campaign. So people are gonna die. I think that I'm gonna tell people off the bat, if your character dies, I am sorry. Because like the encounters will be scaled up for each level. Because I want to encourage people to take risks, but I also want to encourage people to make sure that they understand that new characters are okay. Making a new character is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Hello? What the fuck? Sure. Alright. I think with that, I will probably call it a stream. So, we've gotten pretty far. We did some good stuff today. I'm happy. We did some pretty good stuff today. Yeah, look at what we got. I want to post this like on Twitter later, but if I can. Let's see. But it'd be interesting to post an image on Twitter and we'd be like, "Hey, look what we did! Ah, we made a thing! Oh my god, we made a thing! I want an NPC in the town called Kerbit. I just want an NPC to always talk like this. Maybe it's the bartender." Yeah, no, I like this. It turned out pretty good. On YouTube? Yo, I don't know. I don't really use my YouTube channel too much. to look back on. They're saved on Twitch, right? I think they're saved on Twitch. Is it actually? How do I do that? I have no idea. Twitch VODs get deleted after a while. Oh, really? I thought they were online forever. That makes sense, though. Makes a lot of sense. Ah, I see. Oh, no. Tangent. If you want to play some Dragon Ball sets, hit me up, Omer. I've been practicing a lot of Dragon Ball recently. For this week's weekly. Video manager? Video manager. Let me take a look real quick. If what you say is true. Twitch.tv. Creator dashboard. Stream manager? Is it stream manager? I don't know. Video producer. Content to video producer. Ah, I see. Oh. I see. You just download it or you export it? Do you just like push it into, like export it onto YouTube? Is that how it works? Ah, I see. That's cool. Ah, I see. Cool. That's good to know. I will do that today. It goes through after a while. Ah, I see. This is good information. I do see that actually some of my videos have expired already. Oh shit, for real? Damn. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Pretty good to know. I want to put the videos on over here, but I just don't know like how the fuck to do that. Because like I have 3 accounts underneath my main account in YouTube, and like I don't even know which one's gonna pick. I'll just manually download it and export it probably. That makes more sense. Yes. Indeed. Alright. Cool. Sounds Gucci. Oh no. Alright, no, that's cool. That's awesome. Oh, I'm gonna take the throw off. We did it. We did the stream. It was nice. I think we made a lot of progress. I'm happy with it. It's gonna be pretty cool. Alright, sounds good. You know, Omer, I'm glad I did. I think that is that's good. I kind of wish that more people would hop onto stream and kind of just watch this process, because I think that the process would get them really excited. That's kind of one of the purposes I'm streaming this very specifically, is because I think that the players might get really excited for the campaign once they see the planning for it. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, good point. I could actually. Oh, pretty good point. No. Pretty good point. Looking for group? I don't know. It feels kind of. Maybe it is actually. Maybe you're right. I think you might be right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. All right, I'll check it out. Sounds good. I'll do that. I'll put the video up on YouTube and then I'll post it. Yeah, I'm not gonna like always also work on this West Marches style campaign. I think I'll like. I did this publicly because there isn't actually any solid information. I'm just talking about the systems in place. But like when I'm actually designing the world and stuff like that, I'm not going to a little bit of the world, whatever bit I'm gonna put in there. I won't be streaming that. If the players come and watch, I'll be. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna make a poll soon though, because I didn't realize that spring starts like literally in 4 weeks. I was like, oh, I have 1 month to prepare for this, and I do kind of have 1 month to prepare for this, but not the entire month. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna actually start preparing for this campaign as soon as possible, and then we'll get it off the ground in spring. That's the plan. We'll see how it do be work. We'll see how it do be work. All right, sounds good. Thanks for popping by, my friend. Yes, it will be good for us all. I agree. Take care. I'll see you on Dragon Ball if you want to play some. Bye bye.